Acknowledge this view. Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. This is the August vlog. I'm in my car right now, about to leave for a brand new course. We're actually going to be playing it for the Wild Rose Invitational. Shout out Wild Rose. So for this vlog, I want to go ahead and do a course preview of Skamania Lodge. I also wanted to go over the 3 tournaments that I played in August. So anyways, I'll probably do a little driving montage right here. So you guys enjoy that, and the next time I see you will be in Washington. Hello. Just have card. Stretch out a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and pay inside, and I'll probably see you guys over at hole 1. It is about $8 and some change. So one thing to note too is I'll be playing these holes in the long, which is from these blue positions here. Looks like I gotta throw up and over, and then down into the valley, past that tree, stay in the middle. All right, hole 1, Skamania Lodge. Like I said, I'll be playing everything from the long pins today, so wherever the blue markers are, that's where I'll be playing from. Hole 1, the tee pad, is kind of a little bit sandy. I don't know if maybe in the tournament we'll play from a different spot. I wouldn't imagine so, but nonetheless, hole 1 is about 350. Out into the open, pretty much straight shot. There is gonna be a little bit of an elevation change. It goes slightly up and then back downhill, and the basket is kind of in a little valley. I ranged it at 350. I think if I just kind of pump a mid-range, this new hex out there to the right, it should probably just glide out there and then fade back. I'm gonna start off with a backhand. Looking good. I think I'm pretty close. Shout out Jesse at All Day, gave me this trident. I'm gonna try it out first throw right now. It's holding a bit straighter than I thought. That might be nice. And you can see it goes down these steps out into the fairway. There's the basket. All right, left ourselves a little 25-footer to start our day. Nice start. Looks like we got Innova disc catchers too. So pretty quality baskets out here. Definitely happy with a birdie to start the day. It plays downhill, and you can see looking back at the basket. So the downhill kind of gets negated by having to throw slightly nose up. So on to hole 2. There's the hole we're shooting towards. Plays a little bit downhill. All right, hole 2, good birdie to start. You can see, I don't know if hole 1's basket's in the frame, but it's just right off there to the right side here. We're going straight out to the basket out farther. I'm ranging it about 450 feet. Low hanging branches off to the left right here, just kind of right in the way initially. And this tee pad is a little bit of an uphill gravel, a little uneven. It's pretty wide open though. I would imagine that the cart path would play as OB. I'm at least gonna play it as such right now. But yeah, so let's see what we can do. 465 straight out there. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my straighter destroyer out to the right side. Try to just hammer it almost on a little bit of ante. Just keep it out to the right. Really just try not to fade back left into that walking path. Oh, it checked up. It checked up right in time, right before. Walking down this fairway definitely feels a lot longer than it looks. So if you do kind of throw something that's hyzering out, if you're short enough, it could maybe spike into the flats. If you just get past that flat, it slopes off right here, and you can see my destroyer just in bounds. I threw a couple other ones too that just slid out of bounds. You have to keep it low, keep it right. I'd rather be over there chipping up than over here trying to save my par with like a 60-foot uphill, possible wind. Let's see if I can make this though for a birdie. This would be a bonus. So I might even get a meter. I'm probably blocking the camera. This feels far. Uphill, slight headwind. That's fine. Pitch up, take my par, go on to the next hole. Yeah, I definitely think that's a good get. Hole 1 is a nice, gets you kind of exposed to the downhill, a little bit of elevation, but hole 2, I think it's a really good get. All right, that brings us to hole 3. We're on the walking path yet again. Here at the blue marks, you can see looking forward. Basket's straight out there. Over this cart path out into the flat. Looking back at hole 2, if I was really feeling it or if the wind was really crazy, I could probably also just throw a forehand straight, go off to the right, chip another forehand. It's just the path is so close to the basket, it's like 20 feet. So anything running the basket from far is gonna be tough. I think you wanna push as close to the basket as you can just to make that upshot even easier. Hole 3 though, moving on. We got 350 out straight. Trees on the left here, walking path. It looks like it's kind of out in a little flat like bowl over there. I'm practicing backhand today. I could probably force a forehand, and it's probably a good thing that I'm not battling tie, because forcing forehands is something that I kind of rely on a little bit too much, and I want to just be able to pick up a disc that I'm comfortable throwing on that backhand and then just rip it out there. So 350. Kind of flat and straight. I'm gonna try this FD. Oh, that's just got crashed by the trees there. I'm gonna try this Trident again. I think with the way that it flew on hole 1, if I just kind of hammer it out flat, it should kind of fade back towards the basket nicely. Oh, that's parked. Okay, after about 100 throws, the Tesla is the one. Looking at this one, man, it feels like a musket. It's just like kind of wide open, but my tendency is to pull right, and this tree is right there to grab them all, so that's my miss, but I'll go ahead and throw an upshot from that Trident. So yeah, good straightforward par 3. Not just super wide open, but pretty much just a nice straight backhand. If you can pull it, rip it straight, you're probably gonna have a pretty good time on this hole. So do a selfie tap in for the par here. 1 down through 3 to start. All right, that's hole 3. Hole 4, a little funky. First of all, let's just acknowledge this view. Wow. Into the water. You can feel the breeze coming through. It's beautiful. You can see there's a few baskets down that we're gonna be playing to. That's exciting. This one right here is gonna be the first one. Right there is the short pad. So just like a straight shot downhill. The long pad is this way. From the basket down over there, looking down this way, walking down the hill. From right here, up and over the hill, crash down to the left, and it's a par 3, I believe. My first instinct is to throw sort of flippy, just straight hyzer flip, kind of let it turn over, drift down the hill, and then swing back late. I don't know that I want to just throw something high on a spike, because the higher I throw it, the more it's going to go left if I just throw it way up in the air. I'm just going to try this flippy play first, see how that works. Yep, flat, and then it should just crash maybe close, who knows. I'm gonna try the wide play also. So that was way wide. So I think that was fine, but I don't think it's like a good play. I would imagine this walking path the whole way is gonna be out of bounds to the right of it. So that's the only other thing I can think of where you don't wanna really pull it too far, hit a tree way up there and crash down out of bounds. Looks like this is the tee pad for the next hole. I'm probably shooting down into that canyon. So there's my super wide. As you can see, it still got back in time and it's about pin high. I don't know. Oh, wow. Yeah, my first one is the closest. So that's kind of what I was thinking, is just like looking back at it here, it's just so uphill that if you just kind of throw something straight to pin high and then have it stall out instead of really focus on like a hyzer angle. That was just my flippy fuse, just on a little toss. Not trying to do too much. You guys check that view out while I go ahead and get myself a birdie. A little pushed, but we got disc catchers. Look at that view. Beautiful. And then it looks like that's the basket that we're gonna be shooting to. Looks like a bunch of bushes to the right side along with a OB path. So something to keep in mind. All right, here's the view from the tee pad. You can see the flag and the basket. It does fade way down the hill. So I don't really want to throw a forehand that's gonna fade too much. If anything, it needs to just be super straight and let the downhill carry it. I don't know if I said the distance of the last one. It said it was like 277, but with the uphill and the downhill, it's so hard to actually gauge a legitimate distance, but 277 is what it said. I'm ranging this one at about 370. So 370 downhill. Gotta play way out to the left if I want it to stay straight. I think I'm gonna go with my straightest zone. I'm really just shooting for that kind of down slope on the left side. Just trying to punch it down there, and you know, worst case scenario, I pitch up, take my par, and not lose my good zone. So let's try this out. Hopefully you guys can see this shot. Oh, that's gonna be really good, folks. All right. I don't know about really good, but it's safe. So we're fine with that. I'm gonna throw one more and try to get greedy, see how much closer I can get. That's gonna fade out a little bit. Okay, that's gonna be questionable, so let's go ahead and not throw any more and see where that is. That downhill, man, it just makes everything more stable. So I like erring on the side of that straight shot. But here's what it's looking like coming down here. Beautiful view. You can see my first shot right on that kind of down slope that I was talking about over on the left side. Got myself a putt. I haven't seen that second disc yet. I know it was a bit short. Oh, I see it. It's not in the stuff. It is out of bounds if this path were out of bounds, which would really make this hole hard, and I think it should be out of bounds. I think that makes it a little bit better. But there's the basket, and a little bit flat, rolls down past the path, but here's my Toro. Whew, thank you for not going in there. Ooh, it's nasty in there too. Take a par on this and not losing a disc. Thank you very much. I can see wind becoming a factor, and I can see these walking paths playing as OB becoming very tight. All right, so here are the blue flags right there, and it looks like our basket's way over there with the flag. So it looks like you could probably take, you know, pump a shot out here straight over the out of bounds. I believe the cart path goes all the way straight up there. It's ranging about 475. So quite a pump. On U-Disc, it says par 3. We're gonna do our best. I'm not gonna overdo it here. 475 is not something that I have just in the back pocket, especially it's kind of uphill a little. Slight breeze coming at us. I'm just gonna pump a forehand out there to the left. Get as far as I can without overdoing it. Yeah, that'll play. I don't think a lot of people are going to be getting that. Slightly uphill, like I said, 475. You got all OB over here on this right side, which if you're playing the path as OB, I think that you should. It makes the hole a lot more difficult. But as you can see, once you get past that initial tree there, it's just wide open over here. I mean, you got some rocks and you got the path over here on the right. But even my great white, which is super stable and just on a hyzer, you know, I'm like 60 feet from the path comfortably, 150 in. That was not the best. So getting in closer to the basket, it does seem like there's a little bit of a drop off. It's sort of gradual, kind of goes up on a knoll, then back down. So as you can see, I'm kind of above the basket right here. But that path rides the whole right side, and we are 475. That is for sure. Par on hole 6. It would really be a crush to get that birdie, I think. Probably plays closer to 500s. All right, here we are at the blue markers. There's our basket. It's just kind of a little bit of a strip. The OB path is just to the left of it there, but past it, I believe, is wide open. So just kind of a little shorter, more technical shot. See how it plays. This one is ranging at 235. A little bit of a weird kind of curve to stop you here. A lot of room out to the right to be able to swing it in. And it looks like the walking path does have a curb, so if you're sliding over, it could probably stop you. Yeah, that should be close. I'm gonna try the forehand, just kind of ride the OB. That's also close. I think the backhand's just easier. You just have so much more space out to the right. There we go. That's better, flatter. Skipping, but checked up on that curb nicely. This hole is definitely playing like a must get. There's that out of bounds likelihood right there to the left. But I feel like even doing that, even like a mistake, like just going out of bounds like that, you know, you get your meter, you're still probably in circle 1. All right, and from hole 7 right over here on the walking path, hole 8. Looks like these are the longs, and we're going up onto that little flat ground up there. It is quite a bit uphill, so I can imagine this hole being a bit tougher, especially with some like tailwind, keeping it out of the sky. I think I'm gonna go Toro forehand, sort of out left, kind of flat and up there, and just sort of let the height of the shot stable it out, hopefully. Yeah, so that's well short. I'm gonna try my straighter zone, try to pump it up there flatter. There we go. Yeah, that's better. That actually got to the flat. I think I can probably disc up and give it even a little bit more. I'm gonna try this pyro and really try to just throw it flat left of the basket. Maybe a little bit of Annie. Yeah, and then let the height. Yeah, I think that might even be a touch long. Let's go see. Yeah, it's tough to see on camera, but this hole is significantly uphill. Pretty much just staring at the ground, climbing up this hill. Here's my first shot. Still not horrible. Oh yeah, my pyro last shot's parked. So getting something stable, flexing it up the hill on the left, and then letting that height stable it out. I would imagine that all this is in bounds too, and I feel like it still is probably, sorry, I'm out of breath. It's probably still a better result landing up left on this hill and having a putt than being where I am, putting way uphill still. But we're gonna give it a go. Well, you know, lesson learned. I'd do this next time. So a little bit of a walk over to hole 9. Kind of have to pass the short spot there over here to these blue tees. We're gonna be shooting back into the open. Look at all the tree line. You can see the lodge over on the left. All right, hole 9. There's the basket way out there. I'm ranging it at about 575, 580. It's kind of bouncing around. I'll have to check U-disc again. I thought it said it was a par 3. It might play as a par 4 though. Kind of that path running through should play as like a river, I imagine. I'm not getting there, right? So I feel like a really tough way to play this hole would be OB all short of the path. That would probably make it like insane. It would totally eliminate the kind of layup play. You still have to throw it at least 350 about to get it into a good spot safe if you're playing that way. And if you're going to be doing that too, a backhand's tough because once you throw it out, it's going to be hyzering left. You got drop off on the right with bushes. You don't want to pull it right. It's going to be out of bounds past the path, and then the path continues left and straight, so it's just going to make it a longer shot to have to stay in bounds for the backhand. I'm almost thinking if I go forehand, just sort of flex it way out left so that way it comes back safe. I think I'm going to play it as a par 4 without that as an OB first, and then second shot I'll try to send it, see what happens. I did say it was about 350 to that kind of knoll there on the right side. Yeah. Okay, sweet. So that was right short of that like path. And I think it actually skipped off the path and is safe left. So that seems like a fair shot. That was crazy. I don't know. Force over a Firebird. Gonna aim way more left. Yeah. Oh, I think that's actually right on the path. So that's not what we want. I think if I'm gonna be doing that play, I have to push it a bit further. Yeah, that's gonna be really good. Fade out right. Okay, yeah. So that would be the play for sure if I had to pump it over that path. So it would be a nice touch to have that path be out of bounds right, and also this cut line on the left side be out of bounds. I think that makes this throw have to be a little bit more precise. My first throw, this Wraith, it kind of skid and pushed this path and just kind of rode over here, finished out left. There's my Firebird in the path. 205 to the pin from there. That brings us to my closest shot, which would have been that Destroyer. So this is definitely the pump. But yeah, I'm like within 100 feet here. I threw all my approach discs already. You sort of slide it up there. Feel a little bit of wind on this hole. You can see the flag kind of flapping a bit. Not too crazy, but just enough to keep you honest. I did check on U-disc right now too, and it was saying this is a par 3. So, I mean, based on U-disc, par 3, you make it a par 3, you keep that path not out of bounds, or you can make it a par 4 and kind of make that path have to throw past it and get in bounds. but I could see a couple different ways to play it. Maybe even switch it up a couple different rounds. Anyways, that's the front 9. I think there's a little bit of a walk to the back 9. I think I have to walk up through the lodge again. This will be the vlog part of the video, and I'll give you guys kind of a recap of how my month has been. And then once that's done, we'll continue the course preview at hole 10. The month of August, I had the Columbia Cup first weekend, 3-day tournament, 2 rounds at the Roots, 1 round at McCormick. Started off really great, actually. 8 down at the Roots. Second round, not as good. Just kind of struggled in the wind, I think, mentally. My putting recently has been just kind of iffy, man. I don't really know what the problem is. Doesn't feel mental, because I feel like I'm doing the same thing every time. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it's just a really bad shank. So it's just something I need to work on. But into round 3 on Sunday at McCormick, I had done a lot of kind of practice at home after the Roots on Saturday, and I actually had a good round. Finished off 7 down, I believe, with the eagle on 16. Nice throw in, which was cool. Good cards throughout the whole weekend. Shout out teammates on All Day and Wild Rose. Oh, shout out my buddy Eric too for caddying for me on Sunday. Definitely helped with my overall performance. I actually went camping after Columbia Cup. Went out to where I am kind of now in the Gorge. So on the Oregon side of the Gorge, 4 waterfalls in like 3 days with my girlfriend. She loves that kind of stuff, so shout out to her. But once we got back from camping, I had the Hag tournament to focus on. If you guys know me, you know I love playing at Hag. I had my buddy AA on the bag. Definitely beneficial for a 2-round day at Hag. I shot 2 pretty solid rounds. Too many bogeys overall, if you're gonna get it done out there. Ezra, he got a few bogeys, still shot 9 down both rounds. That's like getting it done out at Hag. Just a tough day to catch a guy who was just playing really clean. So ended up taking second, tied for second with Mac. Week right after Rose City Open, it actually just finished yesterday. Started off really poorly. Pier Park. Pier is one of those courses where I feel like I don't play too bad, and then I end up with like a 920 rated, and it just kind of happens out of nowhere. Putting wasn't the best. Like I said, it's kind of the theme of this video is that I need to work on my putting. However, I was able to bounce back round 2. I felt good about Glendoveer, just kind of in general. I like that course. Turns out it wasn't my day. Started off hot, but I just couldn't make the putts that I needed to. And I ended up botching a forehand on hole 16. I'm kind of at a point right now where I'm letting the situation kind of get the best of me, and I'm just kind of putting too much on my shoulders. So that's something that I'm dealing with, and I really just want to kind of get over that hurdle. But for the most part though, I mean, the tournament overall was just like perfectly ran. All the tournaments that I've been talking about. I mean, the Rose City Open had like no backups at all, which was awesome. Pace of play was great. Shout out to all the players also, but really good job out there. So that was kind of my month. 3 tournaments. Next month, I don't really have a whole lot. I wanted to get this video out before the end of the month, so I can kind of just work on getting on a regimen for putting and practicing and just trying to really finish out the year strong. So that's sort of the end of the vlog portion. I'm gonna get back to the course preview. I just got to hole 10, so thank you guys. If you're still here, here's hole 10. All right, hole 10, we got a par 4. I believe it's the first one of the day, at least first legitimate par 4. You can only really see the basket if you go out and around the corner. It's way up there on the hill. Pretty much just gonna pump a forehand as far left as I can, way out there, and just have it fade back into the fairway. I think we're playing on an old golf green, so it's kind of just a big old straight fairway, par 4. I'm just gonna pump a forehand out over there. I got my great white out over to the left, kind of give it a little ante, keep it in the middle. Just a nice easy throw. Yeah, first time through on this. I'm not really trying to do too much. It's a bit uphill and you have to hit that gap. Coming out of the gap though, you can see the basket is way down there. I'm left with about 470 the basket. So I think I might want to push a little bit further off the tee if possible for next time. I don't really know what's left or right. I kind of have an idea that there's a cart path on the right side. Slight right to left wind. Okay, I got caught up, but I think I'm back in the fairway. This fairway is nice and open. You got kind of natural OB over there on the left. If you pull it too far left, you can kind of get nasty. And then on my right, you have this OB path. Other than that, it's pretty much rolling hills, kind of dry grass, either be in really good footing or kind of have like an awkward lie. You're definitely gonna wanna push it off the tee just so you can get yourself a little bit better of an approach shot into the basket. So with the OB path on the right over here, it kind of goes all the way up to the basket, and it looks like it even gets into circle one. So that forehand play, it seems like it could just slide right into the out of bounds easily. Even though I turned mine over, I stayed in bounds, hit the branch over there, stayed in bounds, and I got to look at par. Swing. Yeah, nice and close. Bring it up. I threw that great white just kind of casually, and it went into the bushes. There's a lot of thorns over in these bushes. My leg just got tore up. So this course does have some thorns and some brutal spots. You just gotta keep it in the fairway. Keep it in the middle and you'll be all right. And that one's close enough. I think we can call that a par. Give it a little tap in. And you can see once you get to the basket, it tightens up a lot. All right, that brings us to hole 11. The hole is that way. I'm walking up this hill here. It says par 3. You kind of have to walk down past where you were just throwing on hole 10. Back that way. You finish out the hole, walk through that path, come this way through the fairway, and you pass the short pin. From here, it makes it about 400 feet. There's the basket. And there's, you can see there's rough all on the right side, pretty close to the basket, so.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a voiceover in place of the original audio that was right here. So basically what we have is a 400-foot shot. You're throwing downhill, but you're up on this little knoll that's mostly gravel. And from the tee pad, it's a blind shot. You can't actually see the basket. There's this bush sticking out that you can see in front of the little tee sign there. That makes it completely blind from the tee pad. So I'm just trying to throw something very stable. I have my purple great white. I'm trying to pump it out straight and hope that the stability of the disc carries me over to the basket. This one was actually surprising. It just went a lot straighter than I thought. So I went ahead and grabbed my more stable great white. A little bit higher, a little bit more hyzer, but not too much of a different result. So I grabbed my Firebird, threw it on a super hyzer. It was the right angle I'm looking for, and it got enough right, but it just didn't have enough distance in general. So,
well, walking up to this hole, I thought, man, it'd just be kind of a chip forehand, but I think having to play around this tree, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like I can get enough pop to get it over there. My forehand right here still got an upshot. My Firebird forehand's like way over there, not in the tree line, but not great. Okay, call it a par. All right, that brings us to hole 12. Here's where we're teeing off from. There's the short pad, and we're going way up the hill to the left. From here all the way up there. It says par 3. It says 420. Seems about right, but uphill so much further.
all right, I'm doing another voiceover for this hole as well. Off the tee, I'm throwing my racer on a backhand, and I'm just trying to throw it as far right and straight as I can. There is a walking path on the right side that plays as OB. You can see here I'm throwing my Firebird on a forehand, just seeing how that kind of chip play works. It's a little bit more left than I would probably like. It's shooting sort of uphill toward the basket as opposed to on the right side on that flat, kind of shooting more of a level shot. It is going to still be uphill, obviously, but more of a level shot, probably better footing. This was my blue destroyer, and I just kind of stood there because I was watching, and it actually did end up going left into those bushes.
Walking out into the fairway, kind of what I was talking about, that left side is pretty rough. And I think if you're fading out early, you're gonna be left with a super high spike hyzer or some weird forehand like Annie toss. There's my layup forehand. Also not bad. I don't mind this spot at all. It's close enough. I feel like I can get any sort of shot up there. I'm gonna play off my first backhand though, which is over here, which in my opinion is the best view of the basket. Because it's pretty flat. You're the flattest you're gonna get on this hole, besides being up there. And then you got OB path right, and you got that crazy bushy area on the left. It looks like it curls around the basket nicely, so let's try to chip it up there, get our par. Go in. Oh, I went long. Okay. All right, we'll see what's back there. Hopefully not much. Well, getting up here, this path is like 5 feet from the basket, and I went long on that first one, so I think I'm gonna play it as OB because I think that should be how it's played. I probably went out like right around here, so tapping my bogey. How close it is really lets me know that it's a backhand approach. Take a bogey. That's what we call a blind bogey. I'll just turn around and look at the view down the hill we just walked up. I don't know that we're throwing down there next, but beautiful views out here. And that brings us over here to hole 13. All right, that brings us to hole 13. We got ourselves a little turf pad here. I can't see the basket yet. I think it's just completely blind. It does say that it's about 400 some feet, like 480 downhill and to the left. And I think they gave us a little landmark out there. There's like a rock. I don't know if you can see that rock out there, but I think I'm throwing to the rock and then to the left of it. So we're gonna try something. Well, I didn't put any anhyzer and it went straight left, but it might have carried long enough. I tried this destroyer, kind of same shot, but try to get over on it a little bit more. That's better, way out there to the right. I heard it land. So I'm not really sure what else to throw other than that. As you're throwing downhill, you got to get up and over these trees still. So it's not just a straight downhill shot. And that's why I was kind of trying to do a little bit of an anhyzer. We're out into the open now. I see one disc on the path, and I didn't really think about the path as out of bounds, but I guess that would make sense. I'm hoping that we're not in total crap. Not promising. There's this destroyer. The basket is just tucked in into this little bowl over here. Man, I don't know how to play this. I don't know, maybe just the river, maybe just the path OB, because man, this is like, you're almost playing into an island with how small this green is and how close this path is to the green. I did say that this rock would be our landmark, and it is pin high of the rock, so if I was hitting that, we're okay. I did not though, so I'm not really sure where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna have to look for a sec. Found my first shot. It's not pretty. I don't know how to play the out of bounds. I would imagine that this would be out of bounds. It's pretty crazy to have to play out of. I'm gonna just give this a throw. And it's out there. Here's where I tossed that blue one. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a putt. See if I can't maybe save a par without counting that as out of bounds. I'll take my bogey and play it as not out of bounds. I think if anything, maybe up into a certain point, maybe you make it out of bounds up until this like little curve here, and then all past it. Like if you get past it, that way if you skip over this rock coming from, you know, the right side, skipping in left, it wouldn't be out of bounds if you got pin high on the road right here. I'm not really sure how to play that, and I still have one disc to look for, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll see you guys on hole 14. All right, that brings us to hole 14, 742 feet away, up on that hill. I believe it's that up to the left there, not straight, way uphill. We're on a gravel tee pad here.
All right, I decided to voice over this hole as well. You can see I'm throwing my destroyer out left, just sort of throwing it as far straight as I can and then letting it hook up. It's not really a full power shot, just kind of guiding it out there. This hole is a par 4, natural OB all on the left side, and you got the path on the right side. It's playing a lot more uphill than it looks on camera, and you have this gravel tee pad. It makes it a little bit hard to get a ton of power, kind of drifts downhill, and then it's just a gradual incline pretty much the rest of the way.
You can start to feel the headwind coming down through this valley here. But these uphill bomb shots, man, are really, really tough, and they're really taking it out of me. A lot of uphill walking. Now you kind of have an uphill walk with wind blowing against you. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's gonna be really tough to get to the basket on 2 throws on this hole. So I'm gonna do my best to just kind of pump another one up there, chip up, and just take my 4, honestly. I think it's just left into the crap. This is another hole where I could definitely see having this left side be out of bounds would be, it would make the hole a little bit tougher, because some of those shots where you can't see the ground, like where you're throwing is kind of blind, it makes it tricky for you to have to really dial in where you're throwing, because it's easy to kind of just leak left into the crap like my throw just did right now. But I could also see this left side not playing as out of bounds because it's so rough anyway. If you slide over there, it's kind of a tough up and down. So let's see where I am. Well, I threw it a little bit into the stuff. See it's in there somewhere. So up to the top of the hill from here, it's gonna be tough. So yeah, I could see this being out of bounds, not having to play from this, but it's also a penalty of its own, having to play from it. So, you know, whatever TD decides to do. I think that's decent. Left side is not great, so keep that in mind. Well, getting up here, man, this green is not the best green either. It's just like so rough right next to the basket. So my disc kind of leaked a little bit over this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up the basket this way. See if you guys can't see it. Do my best to film this. Hopefully I can make it. This will be for par if we consider that left side not out of bounds. Either way though, this is this is not ideal. Okay, here we go. To save par. Oh my god, that's insane. Wow, I was really not expecting to make that, but we'll go ahead and count that as not out of bounds, and that's a par save. Brings us to hole 15. We got another par 3, about 400 feet. We're on another gravel tee pad here, and it says 400 feet out straight and to the left. This is completely blind for me, right? So I'm not really so sure. I think I'm gonna walk out real quick because it's dead straight to the left. Looks like it's on a bit of a slope. I would imagine this path probably plays OB, tough hole. It's kind of tough to kind of gauge what is out of bounds and what isn't. And if it's just going to be no out of bounds and just kind of play it from where you are. And if you're in the crap, then you're in the crap. Last couple holes are looking pretty tough distance wise and just overall having to throw uphill. Tough with any like blackberries on the left, path on the right. So we'll see how this plays. Push straight into that tree that's kind of just straight up on the mound and then work left. And it's like 400 feet. So I'm gonna throw this bright color and just try to pump it at that tree and hope it just kind of drifts left. Okay, work, step. Okay, maybe it's like a hard anhyzer on a flex. I heard something late. It got through where I was thinking, but I heard something late, so I'm gonna try a big forehand over everything. I don't even care anymore. I threw it that way. I think that was the best one though, actually. Well, my best one was that purple great white, so it was like that flex play. I thought it got caught up, so I was actually looking for a minute, but forced its way out, and we got to look at the basket. A long look, but look nonetheless. My phone is dying, so I got to kind of get this going here. I'm gonna call this a mulligan just because of how blind. All my other shots were horrible, so here we go. Okay, we'll call it a par. Moving on. If you're wondering about that forehand, pushed straight over the hill. I'm looking down at the basket. So it's not a bad play either if I'm not feeling that backhand, but looking from this side, it seems like a wide open gap. It's just so tight to get through. So here is the green we're shooting into next, hole 16. So nestles into the right. Tee-pad, it's back over here. So another kind of blind shot coming up. Distance is, I'll put it down below, I didn't quite look. You kind of have to throw uphill again to go downhill. I think it's gonna be like a flex out to the left, have it crash in, or just a crazy far spike. Tight around the basket, downhill. You just wanna go over there and find your disc. That's really the biggest thing right there. One and done, we gotta get going. I heard it crash a little, so it might have pushed a little too far, but let's see. We threw from over there up over the hill. I think I just pushed a little too straight, went back here. See the blue, tricky little putt. So let's see if I can't make it for a little birdie. Yeah, that's about right. We'll take a par though. I feel like I can get that one, knowing how far now. I just disked down a little bit. I think I'll be okay. We got 2 holes left to play. My phone's at 5%. So we can get through these 2 holes. I'll get to my car and I'll give you guys like my recap summary of the whole video. So stick with me, we're almost there. All right, coming out of the trail and we can see hole 17 right here. I see a basket way down there. I think that might be it. Another cool downhill shot. All right, hole 17. We got a par 5, 991 feet. Way down there. I don't know if there's an OB. So there's a path running through the fairway. I'm just gonna call that as nothing. And we're just gonna play this as a par 5 and just see how it goes. I'm gonna try to just pump this down there as far as I can, stay where I can maybe hopefully see the disc. Yep, that'll do. There is a cart path on the right. I almost got to, so that might be something to keep in mind for the future. One thing's for sure is elevation is a main component at this course. You get to ground level and this fairway is just beautiful, man. It's just tall trees left and right, Just throwing straight down the gut. On that drive, I was trying to really press this left side to get enough air time to fade. And you can see this is the path I was talking about coming close to. So I'm about 2 feet from that guy, but I think it sets up another good forehand for us. So let's see what we can do. Pick this guy up and throw it again. We got a good amount of distance to the basket. I'm not getting there. It seems like there's a flat side left and hopefully a flat side right. I'm just gonna play that right side as inbounds as well. I don't know what it would be, but that's what we're gonna play. So, big throw. Well, I'm in the tree line on the right side, so that's not the best throw, but we'll see what we can do. I don't know how. I was looking for a while and somehow I'm right on the edge. I was looking in that crap for so long just now, but I'm up here, had no chance to be that decent. So here we go. Gotta get down. I'm in the bushes again. I think I might take a mulligan. So yeah, I'm not sure how this path, if it will play inbounds, out of bounds, safe to the right, safe to the left. Not really sure. It's kind of right through the middle, so I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to see how that hole plays. Way up there. Crazy. Yeah, I'll take that mulligan. Brings us to hole 18, last hole. We got one more par 5 to finish it off. 3%.
All right, one more voiceover here. I'm going to throw my forehand, just kind of pump it out straight. You don't really want to go into the bushes on the left, and there's a walking path on the right. You don't want to be in the bushes on the left. I went down there on a second throw, and it's horrible. If you're out on the right, it opens up a shot where you can actually see the basket, but it's way out there. This does play as a par 5, blind from the tee pad, but you can set up a nice open shot with like a forehand or just a straight backhand. I think the ideal play is just to get as straight as you can and then hook up late left at the end with whatever you're throwing.
All right, just took a while to look for that last one. Shanked it into the trees. We have a little bit of battery left. Almost went out of bounds, but we stayed in. Now we have an opportunity for one more birdie. Nice, right in the middle. Overall, man, this course is beautiful. You got to be on your game. Elevation is no joke. You can't be off on your angles or you're just gonna be toasted. And the rough is rough. The blackberries are no joke. A lot of stuff on the sides has nothing but thorns, and my legs are pretty chopped up, especially getting that last disc out of that little grouping there. So something to consider and keep in mind when you come out here. You got to be clean. Okay, stayed on there. Oh, that's good. I'll go ahead and take you guys to the car. I gotta charge up the phone and we'll get the recap. If you guys are still here, thanks for following along with me. Brand new course for me, Skamania Lodge. I finished a few under par. I think I got a couple bogeys there in the middle. I'm gonna just blame those on just having playing it blind and not really knowing where to throw. I can definitely see it getting harder out here if it's a bit more windy. My legs got pretty tore up, actually, looking for some discs. The rough is pretty rough. The fairways were very clean and very kept. The tee pads are a little rough, I would say. But overall, I think it's gonna be a great and really challenging course for a tournament. Kind of a long day, at least it felt like it for me. My shirt is like soaked through. Anyways, guys, like I said again, appreciate you watching. That's the August vlog. Thank you guys again. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next one.